6 months had passed since that life-changing birthday party, and Katie's 9th birthday was approaching. This time, when Lisa asked her daughter what kind of party she wanted, the answer was completely different. "I want it in our backyard," Katie said without hesitation, "and I want to invite all my real friends. Not the whole class, just the people who actually want to be there." Lisa smiled, remembering how desperately she had tried to make the 8th birthday party perfect with expensive decorations and elaborate entertainment. "Who do you want to invite?" Katie began counting on her fingers. "Ryan, obviously, and Sophie and Jordan from my class. The kids from my dance group. Oh, and the whole soccer team wants to come because I promised to teach them the cheers I learned." Lisa's heart swelled with pride. Over the past 6 months, Katie had blossomed in ways Lisa never could have imagined. The adaptive dance classes had been a huge success. Katie had not only regained her love for dancing, but had become one of the star performers in the group. She had adapted her movements to work beautifully from her wheelchair, creating routines that were both graceful and powerful. But more than that, Katie had become a natural leader and friend maker wherever she went. At school, she had joined the Quiz Bowl team and helped them win their first regional competition. At Ryan's soccer games, she had become the official team cheerleader, creating personalized chants for each player. The other kids had started seeking her out for advice on everything from homework to friendship problems. "That sounds like the perfect party," Lisa said. "Should we have the same cake?" Katie giggled. "Can we make it ourselves this time?" "Ryan and I saw this video online about how to make a rainbow cake. It looks really hard, but also really fun. I think we can manage that," Lisa laughed. The morning of Katie's birthday, Alex arrived early with Ryan and bags full of party supplies. Over the past few months, Alex had become a regular part of their lives. He fixed things around the house that Lisa didn't know how to handle. He helped Katie with her math homework when the problems got too challenging. He listened to Lisa talk about the pressures of running a company while being a single mom, and somehow always knew exactly the right thing to say. "Happy birthday, Katie." Ryan burst through the door carrying a carefully wrapped present. "Ryan, what did you get me? Can I guess?" Katie wheeled over excitedly. "You can try, but you'll never figure it out," Ryan said proudly. Alex followed behind with a knowing smile. "He's been working on this for weeks." As Katie opened the gift, her jaw dropped. Inside was a beautifully bound book with a colorful cover that read, "The Space Princess Chronicles" by Katie Rodriguez and Ryan Martinez. "You turned our stories into a real book?" Katie whispered, flipping through the pages filled with their drawings and the adventures they had created together. "My dad helped me put it all together on the computer," Ryan explained. "And look at the back cover." Katie turned the book over and gasped. There was a photo of her and Ryan at his last soccer game, both grinning widely, with a quote that read, "Best friends and creative partners, Katie and Ryan prove that the greatest adventures come from imagination, kindness, and friendship. This is the best present ever," Katie said, tears in her eyes as she hugged the book tightly. Lisa felt her own eyes welling up as she watched her daughter's joy. She looked at Alex, who was smiling proudly at his son's thoughtfulness. "How did you manage this?" she asked quietly. "Ryan was so excited about the idea you had mentioned months ago," Alex explained. "He saved up his allowance to pay for the printing. I just helped with the computer work." Before Lisa could respond, the doorbell rang and the first guests began arriving. But this party felt completely different from the elaborate celebration 6 months ago. Instead of awkward politeness and forced activities, there was genuine excitement and friendship. Sophie arrived with her younger sister, who immediately asked Katie to teach her how to do wheelies in the wheelchair. Jordan brought his art supplies so they could work on new Space Princess drawings together. The kids from Katie's dance class came ready to perform the routine they had all learned together, with Katie as the lead performer. But the biggest surprise came when Mrs. Patterson showed up with 5 of Ryan's soccer teammates and their families. "We couldn't miss Katie's party," explained one of the mothers. "These boys have been talking about it all week. They're convinced Katie is some kind of good luck charm for their team. We haven't lost a game since Katie started coming to cheer for us," declared Tommy, one of the players. "Plus, she gives the best pep talks," added another boy. "When I was having trouble with my penalty kicks, Katie taught me this breathing technique she learned in dance class, and now I hardly ever miss." Lisa watched in amazement as Katie held court with the soccer team, giving them tips on teamwork and confidence that she had learned through her own challenges. The girl who had sat alone at her birthday cake just 6 months ago was now surrounded by friends who genuinely valued her wisdom and friendship. The party games were simple but inclusive. Katie had planned everything herself, making sure every activity was something everyone could participate in. They played trivia games where Katie's quick thinking was an advantage, not a hindrance. They had a dance-off where Katie's wheelchair moves were the most creative and impressive. They worked together on a giant collaborative art project that would eventually hang in Katie's bedroom. As the afternoon wore on, Lisa found herself standing in the kitchen with Alex, watching the party through the window. "Look at her," Lisa said softly. "6 months ago, I was so worried about her future. I thought she'd always struggle with friendships, always feel like an outsider." "Kids are amazing," Alex replied. "They adapt and grow in ways we never expect." Katie just needed to find her confidence again. "It wasn't just about confidence," Lisa said, turning to face him. "It was about finding someone who saw her for who she really was, not just as the girl in the wheelchair." "Ryan did that." "You did that," Alex looked surprised. "I didn't do anything special." "Yes, you did. You taught your son that kindness doesn't require anything except showing up and caring. And you showed me that sometimes the most important moments come from the simplest gestures." They stood there in comfortable silence, watching their children laugh and play together. Over the past few months, Alex and Lisa had grown closer, bonding over their shared experiences as single parents and their love for their children. There was something developing between them, something neither of them had expected, but both were beginning to acknowledge. "Lisa," Alex said quietly, "I've been wanting to tell you something." Before he could continue, Katie's voice rang out from the backyard. "Mom, Dad, Alex, come cut the cake with us." Lisa's breath caught. Katie had been calling Alex Dad Alex for a few weeks now, treating him like a second father figure. But hearing it in front of all their friends felt significant somehow. They walked outside to find all the children gathered around the rainbow cake that Katie and Ryan had successfully made that morning. It was a bit lopsided and the frosting was messier than a professional job would have been, but it was perfect. "Make a wish, Katie," someone called out. Katie closed her eyes tightly, thought for a moment, then blew out all 9 candles in one breath. Everyone cheered. Later that evening, after all the guests had gone home and the backyard was cleaned up, the 4 of them sat on the porch. Katie was still looking through her book, pointing out details to Ryan. Alex and Lisa sat on the porch swing, finally able to finish their earlier conversation. "What were you trying to tell me before?" Lisa asked. Alex took a deep breath. "I was trying to say that somewhere along the way, this stopped being just about the kids' friendship. You and Katie have become family to Ryan and me, and I was hoping maybe you felt the same way." Lisa smiled, looking at their children who were now planning their next creative project together. "I do feel the same way. Katie asked me last week if you and Ryan might want to move in with us. She said our family feels incomplete when you're not here." "And what did you tell her?" "I told her that was a very big decision that all 4 of us would have to talk about together." Alex reached for her hand. "Well, I think I know what Ryan's answer would be." Just then, Katie looked up from her book. "Are you guys talking about us all living together?" "Because Ryan and I already decided that would be the best idea ever. We could have family game nights every day, and Dad Alex could teach me how to fix my wheelchair when it gets squeaky, and Mom Lisa could help Ryan with his reading homework." Ryan nodded enthusiastically. "Plus, we're already like a family anyway. We just don't all live in the same house yet." Alex and Lisa looked at each other and started laughing. "I guess that settles it," Lisa said. As the evening grew darker, Katie maneuvered her wheelchair closer to the porch swing. "You know what the best part about today was?" "What's that, sweetheart?" Lisa asked. "It wasn't the presents or the cake or even the party. It was remembering how different I felt last year. Last year I thought I was weird and different and that no one would ever want to be my real friend. But now I know that being different isn't bad. It just means I have different things to offer." Katie paused, looking thoughtful. "And I learned that the best friends aren't the ones who pretend you're exactly like everyone else." 3 weeks after Katie's birthday party, Lisa found herself looking out the kitchen window every afternoon around 4 o'clock. That's when Alex's old blue truck would pull into their driveway, and Ryan would jump out with his backpack bouncing on his shoulders, ready to spend a few hours with Katie. It had started the Monday after the birthday party. Katie had been unusually quiet during breakfast, pushing her cereal around in the bowl instead of eating it. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" Lisa had asked. "Do you think Ryan was just being nice to me because it was my birthday? Or do you think he really wants to be my friend? Lisa's heart had ached hearing the uncertainty in her daughter's voice. Katie had been disappointed so many times by kids who seemed interested in being her friend, but then drifted away when they realized spending time with someone in a wheelchair required a little more thought and planning. Why don't we find out? Lisa had suggested. Maybe we could invite him over to play sometime. Katie's face had lit up, but then worry crept back in. But what if he doesn't want to? What if he was just being polite? That afternoon, Lisa had done something she rarely did. She looked up Alex's phone number through Mrs. Patterson and called him. Her hands had been shaking as she dialed. Not because she was calling a stranger, but because she was so afraid of another disappointment for Katie. Hi, Alex. This is Lisa Rodriguez from the birthday party on Saturday. I hope I'm not bothering you. Not at all, Alex had said warmly. Katie seems like such a sweet girl. Ryan hasn't stopped talking about her space princess story. Really? Lisa had felt a flutter of hope. Well, Katie was wondering if maybe Ryan would like to come over and play sometime. I know you're probably very busy. Are you kidding? Ryan would love that. He's been asking me every day if he can see Katie again. I just wasn't sure if it would be okay to call. That conversation had been the beginning of everything. Now, 3 weeks later, the afternoon visits had become a regular part of both families' routines. Alex would pick Ryan up from his after-school program and drive the 10 minutes to Lisa's house. The boys would spend 2 hours together while Alex and Lisa sat in the kitchen, drinking coffee and talking about everything and nothing. Katie, Ryan's here, Lisa called up the stairs, though she knew Katie had been watching from her bedroom window just like Lisa had been watching from the kitchen. Katie came rolling down the hallway in her wheelchair, moving as fast as she safely could. Ryan! I finished the drawing of the robot princess's castle. Do you want to see it? Yes, and I brought my colored pencil so we can make it even more awesome, Ryan replied, holding up a well-worn pencil case. The two children disappeared into the living room, where Lisa had set up a low table perfect for Katie's wheelchair. Alex hung his jacket on the chair by the door, a habit he had developed over the past few weeks. How was work today? Lisa asked, pouring him a cup of coffee from the pot she now made every afternoon. Long. Saturday shifts at the warehouse are always tough. But this, he gestured toward the living room where they could hear Katie and Ryan laughing. This makes everything better. Lisa smiled. She had learned that Alex worked incredibly hard to provide for Ryan. Warehouse work during the day, cleaning offices 3 nights a week, and somehow still managing to be the kind of father who showed up for every school event and never missed a bedtime story. You know, I've been thinking, Alex said, settling into the chair that had somehow become his usual spot. Katie mentioned she used to love dancing before the accident. Have you ever looked into adaptive dance programs? Lisa's expression grew sad. I tried to find something when she first got out of the hospital, but there wasn't much available nearby, and Katie wasn't really ready anyway. She was still so angry about everything she couldn't do anymore. What about now? I mean, she seems much more confident lately. Lisa had noticed it too. Over the past 3 weeks, Katie had been different. More willing to try new things. Less focused on what she couldn't do. Having a friend who genuinely enjoyed her company had changed something fundamental in her daughter's outlook. There's actually a program at the community college, Lisa admitted. I saw a flyer a few weeks ago, but I wasn't sure Katie would be interested. Why don't you ask her? The worst she can say is no. From the living room, they could hear Katie explaining something to Ryan in her patient, teaching voice. See, if we make the princess's wheelchair silver instead of gold, it'll match her robot army better. That's so smart, Ryan replied admiringly. You think of everything, Katie. Alex and Lisa exchanged a smile. Ryan's genuine admiration for Katie's creativity and problem-solving skills had done wonders for her confidence. He really looks up to her, Lisa observed. She's good for him too. Ryan's always been a kind kid, but Katie has taught him about thinking differently, adapting to challenges. Last week at his soccer game, there was a new kid on the team who was really shy and didn't speak much English. Instead of just playing with his usual friends, Ryan made sure to include him in everything. Lisa felt warmth spread through her chest. Katie's been different too. Yesterday she asked if she could sign up for the school's quiz bowl team. Before, she never wanted to do anything that would draw attention to herself. That's wonderful. She's brilliant. I can tell just from talking to her. The easy conversation was interrupted by excited voices from the living room. Mrs. Rodriguez, Mr. Alex, come see what we made, Katie called. They walked into the living room to find the coffee table covered with an elaborate space princess saga. There were drawings of planets, spaceships, and various princesses with different powers. But what caught Lisa's attention was a new addition to the story. This is the newest princess, Katie explained proudly. Princess Ryan from the planet of kindness. His special powers making everyone feel included and important. Ryan blushed but looked pleased. And Princess Katie from the brain planet is still the leader because she's the smartest and best at making plans. Lisa felt tears prick her eyes. In just a few weeks, these two children had created their own little world where both of them were heroes. Where Katie's intelligence was celebrated and Ryan's kindness was recognized as a superpower. This is incredible, Alex said, genuinely amazed by the detailed artwork and complex storylines. You two should make this into a book. Really? Katie asked, her eyes wide with possibility. Really, I bet lots of kids would love to read about space princesses who solve problems with brains and kindness, instead of just magic and fighting. Over the following days, Lisa couldn't stop thinking about Alex's suggestion. She had the resources to help Katie turn her stories into something real, maybe even publish them. But more than that, she was amazed by how Alex always seemed to see possibilities where others saw limitations. The next weekend, Ryan had his first soccer game of the season. To Lisa's surprise, Katie asked if they could go watch. Are you sure, honey? It'll be loud and we'll have to sit on the sidelines. I want to cheer for Ryan, Katie said firmly. Friends support each other, right? So Saturday morning found Lisa setting up a folding chair next to Katie's wheelchair on the sidelines of the local soccer field. Katie had made a small sign that said, "Go Ryan," and she waved it enthusiastically every time he touched the ball. But what surprised Lisa most was how the other parents and children reacted to Katie's presence. Instead of the awkward politeness she was used to, people seemed genuinely happy to see her. Several of Ryan's teammates came over to say hi before the game started. Katie, you came to watch. One boy called out. Are you going to cheer really loud for us? Asked another. Of course, Katie replied confidently. I'm the best cheerer ever. And she was. Katie cheered for every good play, encouraged players when they made mistakes, and celebrated every small victory. By the end of the game, she had somehow become the unofficial team cheerleader. After the game, as they were packing up to leave, one of the other mothers approached Lisa. Your daughter is wonderful, the woman said. My son Jake talks about her all the time. He says she's the smartest girl in the whole school. Lisa looked over at Katie, who was talking animatedly with Ryan and several of his teammates about the best parts of the game. 3 weeks ago, Katie barely spoke to other children. Now she was holding court with a group of 8-year-old boys who were hanging on her every word. She's pretty special, Lisa agreed. As they drove home that afternoon, Katie was quieter than usual. Finally, she spoke up from the back seat. Mom? Yes, sweetheart? I think I'm ready to try that dance class now. The one for kids like me. Lisa's breath caught. Are you sure? Yeah. If I can be a good cheerleader, maybe I can be a good dancer too. And if Ryan can make friends with everyone, maybe I can make friends with the other kids in the class. Lisa had to pull over because her eyes were too blurry with tears to drive safely. In the rearview mirror, she could see Katie looking out the window with a small, confident smile on her face. 3 weeks ago, Lisa had thought the birthday party was a failure. Now she realized it had been the beginning of the best gift Katie could have received, the gift of believing in herself again. Ryan plopped down on the floor next to Katie's wheelchair without any hesitation. Alex pulled up a chair, and for the first time in over an hour, Katie wasn't sitting alone at her own birthday party. So, what's your favorite part of being 8 so far? Ryan asked, taking a bite of the birthday cake that Katie offered him. Katie giggled. I've only been 8 for like 2 hours. Well then, what do you think will be the best part? Ryan continued, completely unfazed. Alex watched his son with amazement. While adults often felt awkward around Katie's wheelchair, not knowing what to say or how to act, Ryan treated her exactly like he would any other kid. There was no pity in his voice, no special careful tone, just genuine curiosity and friendliness. I think maybe getting to stay up later, Katie said thoughtfully. Mom said now that I'm 8, I can stay up until 9 o'clock on weekends. Lucky. I still have to go to bed at 8:30, Ryan replied. But I get to help Dad make pancakes on Sunday mornings now. Do you like pancakes? As the two children chatted about their favorite breakfast foods, Alex noticed Lisa standing nearby, watching the interaction with a mixture of relief and amazement on her face. He could tell she hadn't seen her daughter this relaxed and happy all day. "Your son is very kind," Lisa said quietly to Alex. "He gets it from his mom," Alex replied. "She always taught him that everyone deserves a friend." Lisa's expression softened. "Is she here today?" "She passed away 3 years ago. Cancer." Alex said it simply, the way he had learned to over the years. The raw pain had faded into something gentler, though it never completely went away. "I'm so sorry," Lisa said, and Alex could hear the genuine sympathy in her voice. "Thank you. It's been hard, but Ryan keeps me going. He's got such a good heart." They turned their attention back to the children, who were now deep in conversation about their favorite movies. Ryan was telling Katie about a superhero film he had watched recently. "But the best part," Ryan said excitedly, "is that the superhero's sidekick uses a wheelchair. And she's like the smartest person in the whole movie. She invents all the cool gadgets and saves everyone. It's so awesome." Katie's eyes lit up. "Really? She's in a wheelchair like me?" "Yeah. And she's not sad about it or anything. She just kicks butt and is super smart. I bet you're really smart too." "I love reading," Katie said proudly. "And I'm really good at math. My teacher says I might skip ahead a grade." "That's so cool. I'm okay at math, but I'm better at art. Do you like drawing?" Alex saw an opportunity. He remembered seeing some paper and crayons at one of the activity stations Lisa had set up. "You know what? I think I saw some art supplies over there. Would you girls like to do some drawing?" "Yes," both children said at the same time, then looked at each other and burst into giggles. Alex went to gather the supplies while Ryan started pushing Katie's wheelchair toward one of the lower tables that was perfect for her height. As they moved across the room, some of the other children from Katie's party began to notice what was happening. "Katie, where are you going?" asked a girl named Sophie who had been playing with the other kids near the bounce house. "We're going to draw pictures," Katie called back. "Do you want to come?" Sophie looked uncertain, glancing back at the group she had been playing with. Ryan, with his natural 7-year-old diplomacy, made the decision easy. "The more people we have, the better the pictures will be. We could make a whole story with everyone's drawings." That got Sophie's attention. "What kind of story?" "I don't know yet," Ryan admitted. "But Katie's really smart, so I bet she has good ideas." Alex returned with a stack of paper, crayons, and markers. He spread them out on the table, making sure everything was within easy reach for Katie. More children began drifting over, curious about what was happening. "Okay, so what should our story be about?" Katie asked, taking charge in a way she hadn't felt confident enough to do all day. "How about space adventure?" suggested a boy named Jordan. "Or princesses," added Sophie. "What if we did space princesses?" Katie said thoughtfully. "Like princesses who live on different planets and have to work together to save the galaxy?" The children's eyes lit up with excitement. This was exactly the kind of creative, collaborative activity that Katie excelled at, and for once her wheelchair didn't matter at all. "I want to draw the princess from the ice planet," Sophie declared. "I'll do the one from the planet with all the robots," Jordan said. "Katie should draw the leader princess since it's her birthday," Ryan announced. "And she's really smart, so she should be the one who figures out how to save everyone." Katie beamed. Alex watched as more and more children abandoned the other activities to join the drawing project. Even some kids from Ryan's party had wandered over, attracted by the excitement and laughter. Lisa stood nearby, and Alex could see tears forming in her eyes as she watched her daughter directing the group, assigning planets and characters, making sure everyone had a role in the story. For the first time all day, Katie wasn't on the outside looking in. She was right in the center, leading and laughing with a group of friends. "Each princess has a special power," Katie explained to the growing group. "Sophie, your ice princess can freeze bad guys. Jordan, your robot princess can talk to machines. What should my princess's power be?" "Super smart brain powers," Ryan declared. "She can figure out any problem and make plans to save everyone." "And she has a flying wheelchair that can go through space," added another child. Katie's smile grew even wider. "Yes, a rocket wheelchair." As the children worked on their drawings, they chattered excitedly about their space princess story. Katie found herself answering questions, settling small disputes, and helping younger children with their artwork. She was doing all the things that came naturally to her, being creative, solving problems, and caring about others. Alex noticed that the party entertainer, who had been struggling earlier to include Katie in the activities, had quietly moved on to other parts of the party. The children didn't need professional entertainment anymore. They were creating their own fun, and Katie was right at the heart of it. "This is amazing," Lisa said softly to Alex. "I hired entertainers, bought expensive decorations, planned elaborate games, but this simple drawing project is the first time I've seen her truly happy today." "Sometimes the best things are the simplest," Alex replied. "Kids just want to feel included. They want to belong." How did Ryan know exactly what to do? "Most adults don't handle the situation this well." Alex chuckled. He doesn't see the wheelchair. He just sees Katie. Kids are better at that than grown-ups sometimes. As if to prove his point, Ryan looked up from his drawing and called out, "Katie, can you help me draw my princess's spaceship? You're really good at making things look cool." "Of course." Katie wheeled her chair around the table to help him, completely comfortable and confident in a way Alex hadn't seen when they first approached her an hour ago. Lisa wiped away a tear and smiled. "Your son just gave my daughter the best birthday gift she could have asked for." "What's that?" "The feeling of being just another kid at the party." Alex Martinez was running late as usual. He grabbed his keys from the kitchen counter and called out to his 7-year-old son, "Ryan, come on, buddy, we need to go or we'll miss the whole party." Ryan came running down the hallway, his shoelaces still untied and his hair sticking up in 3 different directions. "Dad, can you help me with my shoes? I can't get them right." Alex knelt down and quickly tied his son's sneakers. They weren't the newest or the most expensive shoes, but they were clean and comfortable. As a single father working 2 jobs, Alex had learned to pick his battles. Designer clothes weren't important, but making sure Ryan felt loved and included in everything, that was everything. "All right, let's go." "Mrs. Patterson is probably wondering where we are," Alex said, grabbing the small wrapped gift they had bought for their neighbor's daughter. The community center was buzzing with activity when they arrived. Alex looked around, feeling a bit out of place. This was a nicer venue than he was used to, with polished floors and big windows that let in lots of natural light. Most of the birthday parties Ryan attended were in people's backyards or at the local park. "There's Sophie." Ryan pointed to a group of children near a table covered with pizza boxes and juice boxes. Alex watched his son run off to join his friends, and he couldn't help but smile. 3 years ago, after his wife died from cancer, Alex wasn't sure how he was going to raise Ryan alone. Those first months were the hardest of his life. Between working at the warehouse during the day and cleaning offices at night, he barely had energy to make dinner, let alone be the kind of father Ryan deserved. But somehow, they had figured it out together. Ryan was resilient and kind, just like his mother had been. And Alex had learned that being a good parent wasn't about having all the answers or providing everything. It was about showing up, being present, and teaching his son to be compassionate toward others. "Alex, you made it." Mrs. Patterson, their elderly neighbor, walked over with a warm smile. "I was starting to worry you got caught up at work again." "Sorry we're late." "Saturday shift ran a little longer than expected," Alex explained, running his hand through his hair. "No worries at all. The kids are just getting started with the games. There's pizza and drinks over there if you want to grab something." Alex thanked her and walked toward the food table. As he poured himself a cup of coffee from a thermos, he noticed something happening on the other side of the community center. There was another birthday party going on, much fancier than the one they were attending. Balloons, decorations, and what looked like professional entertainment. But what caught his attention wasn't the elaborate setup. It was the little girl sitting alone. She was in a wheelchair, wearing a beautiful yellow dress, and she was by herself near an impressive 3-layer birthday cake. Around her, other children were playing and running, but she sat there watching them with a smile that looked a little too forced, a little too sad. Alex felt something tug at his heart. He knew that look. He had seen it on Ryan's face during those first few months after his mom died, when other kids didn't know what to say to him, when he felt different and left out. "Dad, look at that big party over there," Ryan said, appearing at his side with a piece of pizza in his hand. "Wow, they have a bounce house and everything." "Yeah, it's pretty fancy," Alex replied, still watching the girl in the wheelchair. "How come that girl is sitting by herself? It's her birthday, right?" Look, she has the cake and the pretty dress. Alex followed Ryan's gaze. The boy had noticed too. Kids always notice things adults tried to ignore or politely look away from. I don't know, buddy. Maybe she's just taking a break. But even as Alex said it, he knew it wasn't true. The girl wasn't taking a break. She was excluded, intentionally or not. He watched as groups of children moved around her, playing games she couldn't join, participating in activities that weren't designed for someone in a wheelchair. Should we go say happy birthday to her? Ryan asked innocently. Mom always taught me it's important to be nice to people who look sad. Alex's breath caught in his throat. Ryan mentioned his mother sometimes, usually when he was trying to figure out the right thing to do. She had been the kindest person Alex ever knew. Always the first to reach out to someone who needed a friend. I don't know, Ryan, that's not our party. We don't really know those people. But as Alex said the words, he felt uncomfortable. Was he teaching his son to mind his own business when someone clearly needed kindness? What would his wife have done? He looked around at the other party. The parents were all well-dressed, talking in small groups, holding wine glasses instead of paper cups. Alex glanced down at his own clothes. Clean jeans and a simple button-down shirt. Nothing fancy. He felt out of place just thinking about walking over there. But Dad, remember when I was sad at school and nobody would play with me after Mom died? You said that sometimes people want to help but they don't know how, and sometimes they just need someone to make the first move. Alex looked down at his son, amazed by the wisdom that sometimes came from 7-year-old hearts. Ryan was right. After his wife's death, there had been so many people who wanted to help but didn't know what to say or do. The ones who made the biggest difference were those who simply showed up and treated them normally. You're right, buddy. Mom would definitely want us to go say hello. Alex took a deep breath and looked across the room again. The birthday girl was still sitting alone, now picking at her cake with a plastic fork. Her mother, a professional-looking woman in an expensive dress, was standing nearby talking to other adults, but Alex could see the worry in her eyes as she kept glancing at her daughter. Okay, let's go over there, but we'll just say happy birthday and see if she wants some company for a few minutes. We won't stay long. Ryan's face lit up. Really? Can we ask if she wants to be friends? We can see how it goes, Alex said, straightening his shirt nervously. They walked across the community center, weaving between the two parties. As they got closer, Alex could see the elaborate decorations more clearly, the expensive entertainment setup, the catered food. Everything about this party screamed money and careful planning. It made him even more nervous. The little girl looked up as they approached, her eyes curious but guarded. Hi there, Alex said gently, kneeling down so he was at eye level with her wheelchair. I'm Alex, and this is my son Ryan. We couldn't help but notice it's your birthday. Happy birthday. Thank you, she said quietly, her voice polite but uncertain. Ryan stepped forward with the confidence that only children possess. I'm 7. How old are you now? I'm 8 today, she replied, and for the first time, her smile looked genuine. 8 is a great age, Alex said. I hope you don't mind us coming over to say hello. We're at the other party over there, but Ryan noticed you sitting here and wanted to wish you happy birthday. The girl's mother appeared beside them, looking surprised but not unfriendly. Oh, hello. I'm Lisa, and this is my daughter Katie. I'm Alex, and this is Ryan. We're neighbors of Mrs. Patterson at the other party. I hope we're not intruding. Lisa's expression softened. Not at all. It's very kind of you to come over. Alex could see the gratitude in this mother's eyes and something else, a sadness that matched what he had felt during those difficult months after his wife's death. The feeling of watching your child struggle and not knowing how to fix it. Can we sit with you for a little bit? Ryan asked Katie directly. That cake looks really good, and I bet you have some good stories. I like making new friends. Katie's whole face changed. The forced smile disappeared and was replaced by something real and hopeful. Really? You want to sit with me? Of course, Ryan said, as if it was the most natural thing in the world. Friends sit together at parties, right, Dad? Lisa Rodriguez had been planning this birthday party for weeks. As the CEO of a growing technology company, she was used to managing big projects and making sure every detail was perfect. But this wasn't just any project. This was her daughter Katie's 8th birthday, and Lisa wanted it to be absolutely magical. The community center looked like something straight out of a fairy tale. Pink and gold balloons floated everywhere, tied with shimmering ribbons that caught the afternoon sunlight streaming through the tall windows. A professional party planner had transformed the space with glittering decorations, a bounce house shaped like a castle, and a game station with all the latest activities kids loved. The birthday cake was a masterpiece, 3 layers tall with edible flowers and Katie's favorite characters dancing around the edges. Lisa stood near the entrance, greeting the parents as they dropped off their children. She wore her best smile, the same one she used in important business meetings. Everything had to look perfect. Everything had to be just right for Katie. Katie sat in her bright purple wheelchair near the gift table, wearing a beautiful yellow dress that Lisa had picked out specially for today. Her long dark hair was styled in soft curls with tiny flowers woven through them. She looked like a little princess, which had always been her dream. But as Lisa watched from across the room, her heart began to sink. 2 years ago, everything had changed for their family. The car accident happened on a rainy Tuesday evening, when they were driving home from Katie's dance class. Lisa still remembered every detail, the screech of brakes, the impact, the terrifying silence that followed. Katie had been so excited about learning a new dance routine that day. She never got to perform it. The doctors explained that the damage to her spine meant she would never walk again. Katie was only 6 years old. The other children at the party were running around, laughing and playing games. They jumped on the bounce house and raced each other across the room. Katie watched them with a smile, but Lisa could see the sadness in her daughter's eyes. It was the same look she had seen so many times over the past 2 years, the look of wanting to join in but knowing she couldn't. Lisa had tried so hard to make this party inclusive. She had specifically chosen activities that Katie could participate in from her wheelchair. There were crafts at tables the right height, games that didn't require running, and even a special area with books and puzzles. But despite all her careful planning, the other children seemed drawn to the activities that Katie couldn't do. "Mommy, can I go on the bounce house?" a little boy asked his mother nearby. "Of course, sweetheart," the woman replied, then glanced over at Katie and quickly looked away. This happened over and over again. The adults would smile politely at Katie, say happy birthday, and then guide their children toward the activities where she couldn't follow. It wasn't mean-spirited, Lisa knew that, but it still hurt to watch. Katie's best friend from school, Jenny, had been the first to arrive. Lisa felt hopeful when she saw the 2 girls hugging and talking excitedly. But after about 20 minutes, Jenny was pulled away by some other classmates who wanted to play a running game. Katie called after them, "Wait, I want to play too." But her voice was lost in the noise of the party. "We can play something else later, Katie," Jenny called back, already disappearing into the crowd of children. Later never came. Lisa tried to join the conversations with the other parents, but she found it hard to focus. Her eyes kept drifting back to Katie, who was now sitting by herself near the present table. The other children had formed little groups, playing and laughing together. Katie sat in the middle of it all, surrounded by noise and activity, but somehow completely alone. The party entertainer arrived, a cheerful woman dressed as a fairy princess who was supposed to lead games and activities. She started with a dance contest, encouraging all the children to show off their best moves. Katie tried to participate by moving her arms and swaying in her wheelchair, but the other kids quickly took over the dance floor. The entertainer, clearly not prepared for a child in a wheelchair, struggled to include Katie in the activities. Her attempts felt forced and awkward, making Katie stand out even more. "Okay, kids, let's play musical chairs," the entertainer announced cheerfully. Katie's face fell. Lisa quickly walked over. "Maybe we could do something different," she suggested quietly. "Oh, I'm sure," the entertainer said, looking flustered. "How about, musical statues instead?" But even musical statues required standing and moving in ways that highlighted what Katie couldn't do. Lisa watched her daughter's smile become more and more forced with each passing minute. The worst moment came when it was time to sing Happy Birthday. Lisa had ordered a special cake with 8 beautiful candles on top. She wheeled Katie over to the center of the room, and all the children gathered around. They sang Happy Birthday with enthusiasm, their young voices filling the air with joy. But as soon as the song ended and Katie blew out her candles, The children scattered again like leaves in the wind. Katie sat alone at the cake table, looking at her beautiful birthday cake. The pink frosting roses seemed to mock her loneliness. Around her, the party continued, children laughing, parents chatting, music playing, but she might as well have been invisible. Lisa's throat tightened as she watched her daughter sitting there. All the money she had spent, all the careful planning, all the hopes she had for this perfect day, none of it mattered. Katie was still the girl sitting alone at her own birthday party. She thought about all the birthday parties from before the accident. Katie used to be the life of the party, dancing and playing and making everyone laugh. She had so many friends who would fight over who got to sit next to her. Now those same children seemed uncomfortable around her, not knowing how to act or what to say. Lisa walked over and knelt down beside Katie's wheelchair. "Are you having a good time, sweetheart?" Katie nodded quickly, that same forced smile on her face. "It's the best party ever, Mommy, thank you." But Lisa could see the truth in her daughter's eyes. This expensive, elaborate party was everything Katie had asked for, but it wasn't what she really needed. What she needed were friends who saw her as Katie, not just as the girl in the wheelchair. What she needed was to belong somewhere, to feel included and wanted. As Lisa looked around at the perfect party decorations and the groups of children playing together without her daughter, she realized that all her money and planning couldn't buy the one thing Katie wanted most, to simply be one of the kids again.